Hi guys, you're welcome to Allogenous Ideas. In this video, let's talk about functions in Python. So, a function in programming generally is a block of code that will not run unless it is called. That is one definition of a function. The other definition is that a function is a block of code that is meant to solve a problem, to tackle a particular issue, or return a value like that. So, but the underlying principle is that you write a function, you keep the function in a particular place, you call it before the function will be able to execute. All right. So, two things that you should have in your mind. We have the one we call the function definition. Function definition. Then we have the function call. Okay, then we have the function call, the function definition, then the function call. So now let's take an example of a function. Let's say I want to write a function that will greet the user. Remind me later. Let's write a function that will greet the user. You can do something like def greet, then you do something like this. Print maybe hello world or hello user. So if I should save this and I try to run my program, you can see that I'm not getting any output. The reason is because I defined this function, which is what we call function definition. But like I said in my definition of a function is a block of code that will not execute until it is called. So now we have to call the function, okay? Calling the function is very simple. All we have to do is just greet, and that is it. Function definition is something we did on lines 5 and 6. Line 8 is where we made the function call. And as soon as we call this function, it will execute everything under the block of code. Okay. And don't forget, in Python, you delimit your code using indentation. Okay. In some programming languages, what you are going to be having is this. Alright. But in Python, this is not what you will have. In Python, you just have this colon, then you put an indentation here to show that this block of code is under this. All right. So if I should run this, you see now I'm getting hello user. Now I'm getting hello user. The reason why the function is being executed is because there was a function call. Okay, there was a function call. So now let us talk about functions with parameters. Functions with parameters. If you take a good look at this particular function now, you see that I'm not passing in any values into the function, but you can write a function whereby you can actually pass a value to it. So take a good look at what I'm having. I'm saying hello user. What if I can get the name of the user, then I personalize this greeting to actually carry the name of the user? So what if I do something like this? Name. Then I'll do something like hello, then comma name. Okay. If I save this and I run it, you see it is giving me missing one required positional argument name. Now the reason why this error is coming up is because according to the function definition, I need a name parameter. Okay, I need a name parameter. This parameter over here. So two things that might be confusing: arguments and parameters. Arguments, you use them at the function call. Parameters are used at the function definition. Parameters are like the requirement for something to function properly. That is what you call the parameters. So parameters are used at function definitions, but arguments are used as at the function call. So greetings name. So now you pass in the value of name, you pass data into the function. So you can just come here and do something like Chris. Chris, save and run. So you see now that I'm having hello Chris. Let me clear my terminal. So run it. You see now that I'm having hello Chris. I don't like this person. You see hello Chris working just fine. So let me quickly give one other example of this particular function over here. So what if I have a function that is supposed to add two numbers together and show me the sum of the two. I can just say the sum, and this sum I'll say x plus, no, x comma y. Then I'll now say print the, no, let me use formatted string. The sum of x and y is, then I can just say x plus y. Okay, so now let me come and call the function sum. Let me say 3 comma 7. If I should run it, you see the sum of 3 and 7 is what? 10. Let me say 6 and 12. If I run it, you see the sum of 6 and 12 is 18. So this is just demonstrating function definition and function call, but in this case you are passing values into the function. All right, you are passing values into the function. So another thing that we need to talk about is default parameters. Default parameters, for example, I can just say, okay, let me comment this one out. Let me comment this one out. So for this greeting now, let me bring back this one. I might decide to not put anything here. So I might decide to not put anything here. Then if I should save this and I run it, guess what? I'll be getting errors. Okay, missing one required positional argument. So what if I do something like name equal to user? Okay, so if you don't pass in any value into greet, let me clear this. If you don't pass in any value into greet and I run this, it will be giving me hello user. But if I should pass in a name, for example, Alexander, and I run it, you see it is now giving me hello Alexander. All right, so I'm using this default value over here. I'm using it as a placeholder. If the user is not giving me any data here, then it will take user the default. But if it's giving me data, then obviously it will just use whatever it is giving me as the value of the name. All right, so let us also demonstrate it for this one over here. Let us demonstrate it. So I'm having x and y. What if I do something like y equal to maybe 8? Okay, so if I should say sum of 6 only and I run it, you see that it is giving me the sum of 6 and 8, and originally what I'm passing here is only 6. Okay, is 14. What if I say 6 and 3 and I run it? Now it is giving me the sum of 6 and 3 is what? 9. You see, you get the logic now. So if I'm giving it using this positional argument now, using this, if I'm giving it only one value, it will take this singular value as x. But if I'm giving it two values, then it will take this one as this one. Okay, so that is how default parameters, that is how they work. Now another thing you should know about is return values. Now it is not compulsory that your function returns a value, but in most for a good number of the functions you are going to be writing as a Python developer, you have to return a value. You have to return a value. Okay, it is not compulsory, but I'm just saying. So now imagine that what example can I use? What example can I use? Okay, let me do something like this. Let me take this one out. Then let me also take this one out. Okay, so I can just say the add two numbers. Okay, then the two numbers x comma y. Then for you to return a value from a function, you have to use the return statement. Then you now bring in the value you want to return. I can just say x plus y. Okay, so then for me to make my function call now, I can say result equal to add two num, let me say 7 and 9. So this 7 and 9 now, I can do something like print results equal to results. Alright. So you can see this return statement over here. When I push 7 and 9 into this function, okay, when 7 and 9 gets into the function, it will add 7 and 9 together, then return it. So whatsoever the function is returning, I am assigning it to the variable result, then I'm bringing it out here. So run the program. You can see result equal to 16. Clear my terminal. Clear my terminal. Let me say 17 and 92. If I run this, you see the result is 109. So this is how you use your return statement. This is how you use your return statement. And let's say another, let us give another example here. So let me say def sqrt, which will look for the square root, basically x. So return the square root of x is x raised to the power of um 1 over 2. So if I should come here, let me copy this. sqrt, then let me say 9. Run this. You see, it's giving me 3.0 because actually the square root of 9 is what? 3. So if I have 16 here and I run it, you see, it will be giving me 4.0. What if I have 15 and I run it? See what it's giving me, 3 points whatsoever. But I might want to round this value down to maybe 3 decimal places. So instead of giving result over here, I can just say round results into 2 decimal places or 3 decimal places. Run this. You see now it is giving me the results in 3 decimal places. So this is how you return a value from a function. So briefly, let us talk about recursion. Briefly, let us talk about recursion. So recursion is a programming technique where a function is made to call itself. Okay. When I gave the definition of a function, I said something. I said a function is a block of code. It will not execute unless you call it. Now, all the examples that we have been doing, that we have been given since, you can see this first one that we did over here. The function call is outside of the function. For this other one, the function call is outside of the function. For this one, the function call is outside of the function. And for this other one, the function call is outside of the function. But in the case of recursion, a function call can be inside of the function where the function is made to call itself. All right. So let's give an example. Let's quickly give an example. Let's give an example. I like to use the factorial example. I like to use the factorial example. So now for me to look for the factorial of a number using recursion, I can just say the factorial. Then this factorial, I'll be giving my n. Don't worry, in a later video, there's a particular video in this series that is dedicated to recursion because I know that recursion might not you might not understand it at one go. So just look out for the video. The video might be on the platform at the time when you are watching this. So now, while writing recursion, you should take into consideration two things. Number one, the base case, okay, then the recursive case. The base case, then the recursive case. So for the base case is where the loop is going to be terminated. Okay, where the recursion is going to be terminated. That is where you write your base case. For example, if n equal to 0, just return 1. The reason why we can return 1 if n is 0 is because the factorial of 0 is 1, like mathematically proven. Then else, this is where I write my recursive case. I can do something like return n factorial, no, n multiplied by factorial, n multiplied by factorial n minus 1. Let us play a trick on this thing. I can come here and say print the current value of n equal to comma n. So the current value of n is equal to n. So this is what I want to use to be keeping track of the current value. So this is the base case and this is the recursive case. So clear this. After clearing it, save, and okay, I've not called my function, so let me call the function factorial maybe 7. Save and run. So I'm supposed to print the value. I can say results result equal to, then print results equal to results. Save and run. So now you can see the current value of n is 7654 up to 0. When it gets to 0, it will just return 1. Then it will come and return the final answer, which is 5040. Alright. So that is how recursion works. But don't worry, there is a tutorial in this series that is dedicated to recursion, so you'll understand it better. So Python functions, they offer modularity and code reuse, allowing you to encapsulate logic into reusable blocks. Understanding how to define, call, and manipulate function is essential for effective Python programming. Okay, so thank you very much. Thank you for staying to the end. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. If you have any comments or you require additional information, please, the comment section is open. We'll respond to it ASAP. So I'll see you in the next tutorial. Bye for now.